Jeffro from Two Hacks Garage. Well, you know what, guys? I'm sitting here in my garage. I've been working on the J&J Speed Machine Nostalgia Front Engine Dragster. Not only that, I have a whole lot going on with my Ford. If you saw in that video, that was from, I believe, early September-ish, with my new combination between the new transmission, the new rear end, and new suspension. I took it to a test and tune at Morocco, the US 41 Motorplex. Awesome track, nice people. It's a hot day. Went out there and raced. Tell you what, guys, it was fun. But if you saw in those videos, I did have some traction problem and I had some very bad wheel hop problem. Once I got it home, it was quickly determined. One, well, I had some failures on my control arms. The poly bushings did not withstand that trans brake launch. Not only that, as I had a shock blowout, and I realized one big thing: I have way too much gear. The torque that 521 cubic inch big block makes, along with the lower planetary gears that John Cope and I from Cope Racing Transmissions put into that, with the 488s out back and the spool, was just way too much. So what you're going to see is after I'm done, cleaning up here, well, I've been really busy with this, guys, but I need to take a break. I really need to get my butt up to Kyle's, because over the weekend, Mad Dog Kenny and I took my T-Bird up to Kyle's shop, and last few weeks, last month or whatever, I've ordered a whole bunch of new parts up. I was really hoping to get them all in by the time the No Name Nationals came. It just didn't plan out like that. So I got myself a whole bunch of goodies. I'll go over them once we get up there. But to kind of recap what I did get a new center section. It does have a spool, but it's got 389 gears. I think that's going to help tame down my launches and also help me if I want to do some quarter-mile racing. I figured with those 488s, I'd be able to maximize my RPMs through the 8th mile. But you know what? It was just too much gear, so I'm kind of going to go with the best of both worlds. I really do think those 389s are going to help. On top of that, well, I'm not 100% sure how bad the shocks are. I'm going to get them off season. I'm probably going to rebuild them. But I did get myself a set of Lakewood drag shocks that I'm going to put on there, along with a bag kit for the coil springs. The reason I'm doing that is I kind of want to help preload that suspension for the trans brake launch and just get a little bit more oomph out of those coils on those hard launches. And on top of it, guys, what else did I get? Well, I got myself some custom-made control arms. They have the Heim joint spherical end links to make it a whole lot more solid. They also came from Spawn Performance, who originally built my control arms that I have on it now. Now, one of the bigger questions that I have with it, I just had the lowers rebuilt. I didn't do anything with the upper two, the real short or the pan hard bar. From what I could tell, they took the beating. That being said, I probably should have had the uppers at least made. Not 100% sure yet. Jimmy and I are talking. We'll probably end up making our own. But so yeah, once I get done cleaning up my mess over here, we're going to head up to Kyle's and we're going to try to get this done tonight all in one shot. It's just going to be him and I. We're going to try to get the new center section in, get the new shocks installed, the new control arms in, put that bag kit in, get everything nice and adjusted so we can race. There's a race I really want to hit before the end of the year. Like I said, the weather is turning. It's getting colder. Obviously, rain comes in with that. But there's a race at Mid-State Dragway I want to hit in October, and there's possibly one back at US 41. They're the same weekend. I just need to choose if we get this all done in time and if there's nothing else broken. There's always surprises that come up, which race I'm going to go to, and, of course, weather permitting. With that, I'm rambling. I know Kyle's up at his shop, ready to work. Well, usually when I say that's Jimmy, but this time it's Kyle. He's probably ready to work. Some probably should have been there by now. But yeah, I'm just going to get my mess cleaned up here with Jumping Jack Flash. And tell you what, guys, I'm going to hop in my car, head up to Kyle's. We'll see you in a few minutes. I'll show you what parts we're working with. Later. All right, guys. So here's the parts we're working with. That's an airlift bag kit. That's a coil and spring. Like I said, still on the fence if I'm going to do it or not. I'm going to do a little bit more research while we work. I think it would help. It's kind of an old school trick per se. I'll probably go with it. Who knows? We'll see. It's one of those things where I bought it. It was a good price. In theory, it works. I've done a lot of research online. People say, yeah, it's great, especially with a heavier car on a hard launch. So we'll see. That one, it's on the fence. But those right there, those aren't on the fence. Those are Lakewood drag shocks. They're the 50/50. Right now, I do have the QA1 adjustable, but like I said, blew them out, and I'm going to rebuild them this winter. So for now, so I can get racing and see how things go, I'm going to go with the good old-fashioned Lakewood 50/50 drag shocks. I got those through Holley. As you can see there, yep, good old thing, made in the USA. Now, let's talk about the control arms. These are the lower control arms I'm going to go with. They're from Spawn Performance. They do have the heavy-duty spherical Heim joint on the end, and you can see they're fully adjustable. These are a pretty heavy-duty setup. I do have Spawn on there now, but instead of having these, they're adjustable in the middle, and they have a poly bushing. Those poly bushings actually completely blew out. They didn't handle that load. In fact, I'm going to show you something on how bad that rear end was actually shifting in that car. All right, guys. Well, here is the rear wheel well. Okay, so if you look here, this is the passenger side. There's my tire, and look at that, guys. Look how much paint wore off that. I mean, I've got 3 fingers in there. That rear end was moving so much back and forth that way because I just blew everything out that the tire was actually hitting in here, and it took the paint off. That's no bueno. That is not good at all. And so that's why we are going to get rid of the current setup to go with more of a solid setup on this. Yeah, these are meant, you know, really for, if you want to call it an off-road application. These aren't going to give you that nice ride like a poly bushing. But what my plan is between all of this here, that it's going to solve the problem that I just showed you, and it's going to solve my wheel hop problem. With that, you know what, guys? I'm going to show you the rear end. All right, so the rear end I got from Speedway. The last 3 I've actually got from Speedway, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, why don't you just buy the gears and set it up instead of buying a whole new center section? Well, down the road, I'm going to have a use for that 488 with a spool. I'm not going to say what that is now, but I'm definitely going to have a use for it. So I do have another center section with a blown out, extremely destroyed limited slip differential at 430 gears. That one's also going to get rebuilt for another application. But like I do got to say, Speedway Motors, they do package these quite well. I like the housing that it comes in. It's the nodular iron with the extra iron support braces. It's pretty nice. The yoke on this is for the, I believe, the 1330. However, I have a billet for a 1350 that will swap out. Real easy to do. They're a bit heavy, but you know what? Not really concerned. That car is also pretty heavy. All right, now that I got it out of the case, you can see it's got a nice gear set. All the pattern on that is already set up. These things come up already set up, saves a whole lot of time. It does have the heavy-duty hardware for this, along with a full spool. This is a 389 ring and pinion, 31 spline. It's got the Daytona pinion style bearing and carrier. So, you know what, guys? It's a pretty quality unit. Money is obviously one of those things that doesn't grow on trees. While there are probably more substantially better brands out there, this is a good mid-grade option, in my opinion. This is my 3rd one. There's nothing wrong with the one in the car now. It's just I need a different gear ratio. So yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get everything installed. Probably do no testing tonight because of the weather, but at least get it there because I want to make it to one more track. So barring any other unforeseen issues inside the car, which we hope we don't see any, yeah, get all this done and take it to the track, see how it does. With that, we better get to work. All right, we're going to call this one a long night. It's been a long night. We got everything installed. Still got to do all the adjustments, set pinion angle, and all that type of stuff. So that's going to be part 2 video showing you all that. If you look here, those poly bushings are destroyed. These are stretched. They were all wobbly when we took them out. Same thing with this other side. So I'm still going to save these because they have a use for them down the road. But yeah, so what we did is we got the new shocks in. Actually, we did get the airbag system in. Kyle had a really ingenious way to put that in, and it worked. We got the new control arms in, nice and pretty. Pretty solid unit. You can see the other shock there. It's really dirty underneath here for being a new car. And then we've got the other bag in there. Where I route these is I already had one of these for a previous setup. So I got an air chuck there. And yes, you saw me with the drill. And I got an air chuck there. So these will be set at different PSI depending on what I'm doing. Look up here, new center sections in there. So what I'm going to do before the end of the night, I'm going to fill this with fluid, going to let it sit. I'm going to come back tomorrow, check for drips, make sure everything's cool and kosher. And then from there, guys, is what I'm going to do is Kyle and I are going to adjust all the bars on here, make sure that's good. And we're going to check for leaks. We're going to make sure it's cool. We're going to check the pinion angle, get all that set. And yeah, we'll see how it goes from there. But with that, guys, there will be a part 2. Till the next time, see you later.